So, welcome to this evening's special edition of On the Sofa to celebrate our 20 years in business. And we thought we'd give you a chance to ask all your questions about the business, about anything really. And so I thought I would bribe Emily to come along and be my question master rather than me sitting here and you'd have to listen to just me this evening. So fire away any questions in the comments. We've got a whole stack here from customers, staff, and other random people to answer. But yep, send in your questions and we'll answer them as we go along. I did say that I'd bribed Emily, so I have brought us a little cider along. Emily's a big cherry fan, so I found her a cherry cider. So I've bribed her with that. So if we start laughing hysterically or it gets a bit out of hand, you'll know why. So Emily, where should we begin?
Oh, that's a good question. But I suppose, shall we start with why tartan?
Why tartan? Why tartan? There's lots of reasons actually. One is I absolutely love colour. As you can see, I'm usually dressed fairly colourfully. And I love texture, and I just love touching things. I love the way things feel. So textiles, and particularly Scottish textiles, obviously appeal to me. But also I did lots of work in this local area where we are so famous for textiles and producing some of the finest quality cashmere and woven fabrics in the world. So it makes sense that that is a product we promote, because the other bit of me loves just looking after our local area and our rural economy and everything we do here. So a chance to indulge in my passion for colour and all the rest, as well as supporting all our local companies down here, made this kind of the perfect business for me.
Yeah, sounds like it. Lots of interests coming together. And we've already got a few questions coming in. So we've got one from Colin Brown, who's asking what your best average speed is. Now, Colin probably knows that you're a keen cyclist, so I'm assuming that's what it's in reference to. So.
Yeah, very cheeky. So to keep myself sane and to occasionally remove myself from tartan, I'm a keen cyclist, and Colin shares that passion. So my average speed isn't very good, Colin. I don't think I can keep up with you. We'll go for kind of 15, 16 if it's nice and flat.
There you go. Yeah, one of your out of work passions. And next then we have Tim, who says, firstly, huge congratulations and been fabulous to be part of it, and wonders what the next 20 years look like.
Well, so Tim owns Atacat, an agency in Edinburgh who look after all of our search engine optimization, organic search and that kind of thing, pay-per-click adverts. So Tim's been a part of ScotlandShop for a long time.
Longer than me?
Longer than you? Wow, must be a long time, Emily. So what does the next 20 years look like? I don't think anyone actually knows. I definitely don't know. And part of the excitement of running your own business is you never really know what's going to happen next. But I know you're supposed to have a grand 5-year plan. So I suppose I have a picture in my head. I definitely see lots more activity in the US. I see lots of fabulous trips for me and probably the other staff too. I see lots of international expansion, hopefully more in the UK. There's lots of little pockets here that we're missing. So I don't know, there's just lots of little bits here and there that I know we haven't even touched the surface of. So lots of adventures, I think, is what's to come in the next 20 years. But we definitely want to grow our company. So meeting lots more wonderful customers around the world and enjoying some different places too.
Yeah, and from the start, it's always been quite an international view. So what kind of inspired that, I suppose?
I don't know. I suppose that's just, I did do international marketing when I was at uni, or certainly did a fair proportion of my degree was around the international side. So I don't know why that seems so much more exotic and exciting. And I did do a fair bit of traveling myself. I've always then really appreciated Scotland when I came back to it, and that kind of, for me, cemented the fact that this was actually where I wanted to live and work. Mm-hmm. But I do love traveling, and it's the people. I love meeting the people. So I think that's where the international thing comes from, is because I like exploring those other cultures, the way different people want different things, they work in different ways. You know, the whole US adventure has been really interesting because it's just really different. So it's just another excuse to have a bit more adventure, I think.
Okay, I like it. And so Lauren, who is part of our marketing team, has come on to ask, what is your favourite moment or event from the last 20 years? I think we could let you have more than one.
More than one. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really difficult, Lauren. I mean, I'll never forget walking out of my old job, and it had kind of swanky, it was all fancy. One day we'll be like that in ScotlandShop. Had a kind of glass revolving door, and I remember walking out. I'll never forget how I felt then, that kind of mixture of being really excited but a little bit frightened at the same time. But I quite like that, slightly taking a risk element.
It's a fairly big one.
Yeah, nice salary to nothing. So that was kind of one of those moments. Other moments, I don't know, as you go along, when we opened the Edinburgh shop, that was a massive thing for us. It was a big shift. It was a move from online retail to bricks and mortar. So it was loads of learning, big adventure. Yeah, and it was all so last minute and so
really well.
It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. We're still mopping the floor and blue tacking the fronts on the cupboards because the joiner hadn't quite finished them, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the builders walked out the back door as
the customers came in the front.
Yep, exactly.
But we'd set the date of the 1st of August, and you know what we're like. When we set a deadline, we set a target, we like to reach it. So that was a massive moment. Obviously, opening the US store then this year, that was huge too, and we worked for that. And that's what kind of we focused on through COVID and through the really tough times. So I think that was huge.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I did have a little tear when I did that, got a bit emotional. But so many little moments of huge, like, oh, wow, that was amazing. Or just speaking to people. Just the amazing people you meet. You just have a day when you speak to amazing customers, lovely people from the Netherlands who were in the shop the other day telling us how we should open another shop and we should have one in the Netherlands. And I don't know, just that kind of random, those moments, little moments. They're not great big things, they're little moments, but those little moments actually I think are what I like most.
Yeah, and I think actually most of the staff would say the same. Actually, David, our shop manager, was saying exactly that a few hours ago, wasn't he? Just seeing and hearing those conversations with customers just always brightens his day. So yeah, keep them coming.
Yeah, definitely.
So what did you dream of happening when you started out that just hasn't happened?
Oh, so many things. I suppose I thought it would be a lot easier, because you would never start if you knew how hard it was going to be. So yeah, I definitely thought it would be a lot easier. I thought we would grow a lot faster. If you looked at my initial forecast, it's proper Dragon's Den thing, isn't it? They always come in with this massive forecast to make 2 million in 2 years, which you never do. So yeah, I thought all that would flow a lot faster. But what else? What else hasn't happened? I thought I'd have some kind of fleet of vans delivering my products around the country, which obviously doesn't happen because you just, we've got one tartan van, that'll do. That's bad enough, the upkeep on that. Then you quickly realise that couriers are the answer. Yeah, and I always pictured, though, having staff. I never thought I would work alone. I like people, I like teams, I like that side of things. So I always thought we'd have a team, so I suppose we've achieved that. Yeah.
Ever-growing team.
Ever-growing team. Every day, new face.
I know. And so Colin was saying that he loves our Clan of the Month celebration and is asking what the most popular has been, which is a difficult question. But just this weekend, we are heading to the Clan Buchanan inauguration, and that all kind of started back in probably 2019. I think we started speaking to the clan then and have stayed in touch ever since, celebrated them as our Clan of the Month. They were meant to do the inauguration 2020. Obviously that got pushed back, so now it's finally happening. So yeah, we're very excited to be celebrating that, and that's just one of the connections that we've managed to make from featuring those clans. So
yeah, and some of them, the really little clans are actually more interesting. It's harder to find the stories, it's harder to find the history, which it also makes it more rewarding when you find out all these little snippets, or you find someone out there who tells you so much interesting stuff. So
yeah, and I think they're always so appreciative of kind of having that light shone on them, which maybe hasn't been elsewhere, isn't it? There's always good stories, famous people, and
I like the famous people. Yeah, and the castles. Do like a good castle.
Yes. So our next question that's come in is, what has been the most exciting order you've received?
I think the one thing I suppose I feel honoured to do is our association with the White House Historical Association, and that the way that kind of came about from a fairly casual conversation, and then the next minute we're weaving fabric, and a really beautiful tartan it is too, which always makes it even nicer. But to see the Scotland Shop name alongside the White House Historical Association name is really special. That has been very special. That's definitely one of my favourite kind of commissions that we've had. One of the bigger ones. But yeah, I love them all, big and small.
And so following on from that then, what would you say your biggest achievement has been?
I think it's still to be here. You know, well, but this is the thing, and you forget this, and I think I forget this a lot, is that, you know, most businesses fail in the first 6 months. So you survive 6 months and you think, yeah, I've made it through 6 months. This is great. And then it's 2 years, and that's really good. And you think, right, we're going to be okay now. And I suppose there was an element of, yes, this is definitely a business now. And then there was another lady told me, someone who used to make scarves for us, lovely, very clever lady, who said, yeah, but it takes 7 years to make a profit. And I kind of laughed at her at the time, but I think she was probably right. So that's kind of another threshold where, you know, you've got enough bread and butter business to survive, and then you start doing some nice things on top of that. So that was a big milestone. I don't know what the milestone is at 20. I'm just, to be honest, because of COVID and everything that's happened in the last couple of years, survival just seems like... It does seem like an achievement, and to have kept moving forward, because we never gave up. We never thought, we never kind of retracted or limited what we did. We just, and you were a huge part of that, Emily. You know, we sat down and said, right, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to still reach our customers? How are we still going to speak to them? This is how
videos like this
On the Sofa started, and I was so resistant. And I am not going on any video, and so I just pretend nobody is there. Do the Stephen Bartlett thing. I hope no one's listening.
Oh yes, yeah.
But if you are,
Diary
don't tell anyone. One of my favourite podcasts, Diary of a CEO. So yeah, I don't know. Big achievements.
Many. Yes. So we've got Ian, who has joined us from the Scottish Business Network. And he is just saying how great and inspirational bold stories of you opening the store in New York State and the outreach that we've been doing around the US and North America. So he says thank you for that.
No, well, thank you, Ian, because, you know, things like Scottish Business Network that have, you know, helped support our, you know, going out there, and when we were researching just all the different people that we spoke to just say, what's it like where you live? Do you think we'd get any customers? You know, we did a huge amounts of research, and you can do lots of data, but it's also about talking to the people. So
absolutely, a lot of video calls during COVID.
And that's what COVID was turned into, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, it was a bit risky, really, opening the shop, and really off the back of COVID. But you have to take a risk, and we like a bit of excitement. So I think it's paid off. It was worth doing.
Yeah. So following on from that, Joseph is asking, would we ever consider a store in his state of North Carolina that has the largest Scottish immigrant population of any state in the US?
Yes, Joseph, we would. We're on our way. We have kind of pockets of business, pockets of Scottish communities that we know we need to come and see, whether that's on a kind of permanent shop type basis or just to come and visit you. So you're very high on the list.
Absolutely.
So yes,
we've been doing our research.
It's in the plan. It's in the plan, and we know how many Scots you have in North Carolina. So we're desperate to come. We just need to make sure we've got everything else running smoothly, and then we can start doing lots of of trekking around the country.
Absolutely. So we're jumping around a little bit here
We are very much.
in the timeline. But what was it that you did before starting the business then?
Oh God, drove my parents bonkers because every 6 months I changed job because I got a little bit bored. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nightmare like that, really. I do, and this is the perfect job for me because it's always challenging and it changes every day. And if it doesn't, then I can just make up something to make it more difficult, and then that keeps me occupied. So what did I do? I did loads of different marketing and sales related jobs. That is definitely what I love. And you know that's
Yes.
when I'm happy, Emily, when I'm hidden away in my office writing things and coming up with silly ideas that I then expect you to execute.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I did lots of different marketing jobs. I did work for a web design agency at one point. I worked for a marketing research consultancy for a while, looking at different businesses and how they could grow. So I'd kind of done a lot with lots of little businesses and lots of businesses that I thought, that's not how I would do it. You know, and you have all these slightly arrogant ideas. And then when you do it yourself, you realize how hard it is. So yeah, lots of little businesses and lots of marketing. And then I worked on a project for a while, which was all about linking schools and business and all about giving young people the chance to experience either being an entrepreneur or working in a business, working in a factory or working wherever they fancied working. And that really, I did really love that. I loved that because I had a lot of freedom to do what I wanted. So I could use my own ideas, but also because I do feel really strongly about young people and giving them a chance to see what work is about, because what you think work is about is not really what it is about until you find what you really love. And yeah, so that job did really inspire me, and it also took me into lots of textiles companies. Okay. So I met lots of interesting people and saw some of the amazing products. So that was definitely the beginning of my, this is actually what I'd like to do.
Yeah, so all of that experience just kind of gradually formed the idea, I suppose.
Well, and I think being a dairy farmer's daughter helps. You know, my dad worked for himself and my mum helped him and worked alongside him, and they worked really hard and kind of built something up from scratch. So I think that was in me, and the fact that, you know, they wake up at 5:30 every morning to do the dairy. So that was just part of what I am as well. So that's never an issue, working hard. So I think that was good prep, definitely.
Yes. Oh, and that's what Tim's just asking, is saying that your resilience has been amazing. So how do you pick yourself up in those down moments you alluded to?
Oh, Tim, I think you've caught me in a few of those as well. What did I do? Well, I'm a compulsive exerciser. I definitely, absolutely. I need to get outside. Yes, Emily's always like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Although you do join me with a bit of swimming, bit of open water
swimming, yes.
So no, anything outside. I just need fresh air. If I'm really struggling, I just need to go outside and breathe. But yeah, I like running and cycling and swimming and walking. Doing anything outside. I just like being outside. I don't even care if it's that sunny. I just like being outside.
Although you are a lot happier when it's sunny.
I do love. Yeah, any trip to Florida, I'll go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely my solution to if I'm struggling, is to do a bit of hard exercise, get the endorphins going, and that just seems to set me back on track, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So Harold is suggesting that Fergus in Ontario, Canada, and even better, Nova Scotia would be great places. So actually, I am just back having spent pretty much 2 months in Canada. So we went to Fergus Highland Games and also went to Nova Scotia for the first time. So Harold, we have been there. We hope to come back again soon. Already planning the next trip, and potential future locations. Absolutely.
Yes, we'll be in touch, Harold.
Yes,
we're definitely returning quite soon.
Exactly. Yes. So we've talked about what you did before starting the business, but when you were really little, what was it you imagined you'd do when you were growing up?
Oh, when I was a little girl. Well, I wanted to be a policewoman, which my family still laugh about.
Not what I was expecting.
No, I tried to train the dog to be a police dog. Poor dog. I made my sister lie on the ground and tried to make the pony walk over them as if she was a dead body. It refused to do that. So yeah, I did loads of ridiculous things like that. I don't know why I wanted to be a policewoman, but I did also write to them when I was 18 and said that's what I wanted to do, and they said, no, you have to go away and get some life experience first.
Oh, interesting.
So off I went to uni, and I did, while I was at university, I wrote my dissertation about marketing in the police force. And then I went on a special, I think it was 4 days or something, test the water kind of training thing with the police. And very quickly decided I didn't want to do that at all. So it was good that I did that, because then I realised that's not what I wanted to do. I just realised that it's too rigid for me. I need to be able to be creative. I don't think I recognised myself as a creative person until then. I didn't think of myself as an ideas person. And then I started to realise that, no, that was actually really important to me. And that definitely is what I love doing most now. So yes, I'm glad I didn't become a policewoman.
Yeah. And obviously we are speaking today from our headquarters just outside of Duns in the Scottish border, so southeast coast of Scotland, about an hour and a half south of Edinburgh. So if you look us up on Google, it has been referred to as a paddock previously, hasn't it? But really a converted farmsteading. So yeah, why Duns?
Why the mighty town of Duns? My husband is here. That is the answer. I mean, I can't really claim. That sounds very rude, doesn't it? Like I wouldn't live here out of choice. But I mean, that is ultimately it. When you marry a farmer, you don't really have a choice of where you live. But I'm very lucky because it's very beautiful, and I really wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Once I decided to marry Neil, then I kind of had to move down here, and so.
So it's not where you grew up then?
It's not where I grew up, but I didn't grow up very far away. I'm only about 20 minutes from where I grew up. So it's an area I know really well and love very much. But I always, when I was 16, said I never want to live in the borders and I'm never going to marry a farmer. And that's what I did. But I'm very happy. So yeah, I've lived a lot of other places. And like I said before, I think that really cements the fact of how much I love Scotland. And that's part of when you asked before about, why Tartan? And, I do love Scotland. I have a real kind of desire to promote it. I feel like when we're abroad, we're like tour guides.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're always, even in the Edinburgh shop, you're constantly telling people about, you should go there, you should see this, you should do that. Oh, it's really beautiful. And so I feel very lucky to live here.
Absolutely, yeah. I think growing up, you don't really realise that other countries don't have castles and tartans and clans, and we just kind of took it for granted. And like you say, until you go abroad and start speaking to people and realise how much they love it, then it makes you realise just how special it is.
Yeah, and that's unique.
Although that's the rain.
Oh yeah, now you hear the rain. Yes. It does have its limitations. Sunny Duns, but no, that's why I live in Duns, and will do for the foreseeable, unless something terrible happens.
Yeah. And so who inspired or inspires you then?
Oh dear, people always think it's going to be someone famous, don't they, or something. I mean, I think a lot of it comes, and my dad did inspire me. I always remember walking across the field, and we were going to dig up some potatoes because we grew potatoes on the farm. So walking across the field and him saying, it's not just a job, because of course it was really late at night and we were still doing all these jobs. And he said, it's not just a job. And that really, that rings so true to me, because it's like, I'm frequently here at ridiculous times of night doing things like this. So, but on a weekend, whatever, and that it doesn't bother me because it doesn't feel like work really a lot of the time. So yeah, Dad and his love of what he did definitely inspired me, and he was pretty maverick in the way he did things, so I probably picked up some terrible habits from him too. Who else has influenced me? Lots of just people along the way. I mean, people who've, Phil, who's our business coach, who always says, which is a very not what you expect to come out of Phil's mouth, I think. But the stars will never be aligned, and that makes me laugh when he says that. But it's so true, because what he really means is stop waiting for it all to be perfect, and just do it. Just do it. Give it a shot. See how it goes. Go with it, and something will come of this. And it's probably there'll be good bits as well as bad bits, but you can pick out the good bits and go with it. So yeah, that's been a bit of an influence for me in the last kind of 6 years, I would say, of just,
absolutely.
Yeah, we'd got to a really good stage, but then it was like, oh, how do I grow this more?
Yeah.
And I was frightened of spoiling what we already had. We'd got to a good point, so it's like, I don't want to risk that. So that's definitely helped. So I think
and both the stores have come since then, so
yeah.
And like you say, coming out of COVID and opening an international store probably wasn't the best of times, but
no,
when would there have been a good time? So
50% of decisions are wrong. That's my thing. Yeah. So 50% are wrong. So it's just what you do with them.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know who else has influenced me. Oh, you guys, I think staff and who comes into the business and what they bring with them, and other companies you work with or you meet along the way, and just what people bring and their ideas. And I just like learning from other people and listening to how other people do things. So
yeah, and I feel like it's always been kind of very open, being a smaller team, to people coming in with their experience and ideas, and everyone's welcome to have an input, even if it's complete opposite department that they're in. So I think everyone appreciates the fact that we can influence the future as well. So so next one is, what is your favorite tartan?
Oh, well, I'm wearing my McGregor and being very family clan oriented, because that's the white family has to wear McGregor. So I have to admit, it's not really my favorite. I really love the New York City one, which we wore the very first time we went to New York. So I think I love it partly because of that memory of walking down Fifth Avenue and Sixth Avenue, wrong one. And that kind of the emotion that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Edinburgh tartan because I love blue and I love the brightness of it. And I've got a bomber jacket in it, and I love that with the trainers. So that's probably second favourite. And what else?
Your dress?
Oh, my dress is in Oliver, which is my father-in-law's name. So that's why I chose that one. And it's really nice. But yes, I tend to pick depending what item of clothing I want to create.
Yeah. So
I'm a proper change my mind every 5 minutes. Actually, that's the hardest thing. People say, "Oh, have you not got that in time?" And I'm like, well, I would like it, but I just can't quite decide which one to choose.
I know, it's really difficult for uniform and stuff, because we all have a clan connection, but then there's just so many other ones that we like. So like you say, ones that have some sort of attachment. And it's always a difficult choice.
It is.
Tim is asking which celebrity you would most like to make a tartan suit for. But obviously, they could never be better than Doddy.
No. Oh, I love Doddy and his bright and crazy ideas. Yeah, no, it would never be as much fun as when we created Doddy's suits and his tartan. What other celebrity? Oh, goodness. I'm terrible at celebrities. I think Emily,
you don't really
I think I'm not very good at celebrities.
No.
Maybe Emily, you should ask that because you're the designer. But
okay.
I don't know.
Well, I know Kyle from New York City Tartan Week and I have had many a conversation about who would be a good Grand Marshal to lead the parade. So we said people like David Tennant, or basically for Kyle, the kind of criteria was someone that really wants to kind of be proud of Scotland. And, there are many celebrities who maybe kind of keep that quiet. So for him, it was really important that they would embrace that. So I think I'd probably say the same criteria, really, that they're going to embrace it and, be proud of Scotland and, showing off their tartan, I suppose. So, I don't really know that that's
a poor
answer. But
Tim, you'll have to come up with somebody
exactly.
for us.
Who are your ideas, Tim? And we can reach out to them. We've sent a few tweets to people, just why not? Yeah. If they don't get back, fair enough. But it's worth a shot, isn't it? So, who knows?
Send us your suggestions.
Exactly. So we've kind of covered this with achievements, but any particular memories that stand out then? So you said about walking out of your previous job, but during the world of tartan.
Yeah, and I think I just talked about the New York Tartan Day Parade there. That was a massive moment because that for us was the first time we'd gone out to the States. It was the first time I'd ever been to New York, which is a bit ridiculous, really. But, you know, that was the truth. I had never been to New York, so you'd been a few times.
Yeah,
so
but
you
even,
were the old hand. But
well, you say that, but even having been to the city before, to then see it be taken over by Scots, yeah, it was really special.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how much we were allowed to just close down and dominate.
Pretty much,
just like, okay, we've just got this whole street for
6th Avenue,
a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so exciting, and just being there, we had our mascot, which was one of those slightly bonkers ideas we had.
I do remember questioning.
When I said, how about we have a mascot? And everyone was like, no, Anna, that is a terrible idea. But he's fantastic. He's a great big, he wears a suit and a top hat. So he's a very sophisticated mascot, but he's also roasting hot. And we do love the guy who danced the whole way down 6th Avenue.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah. He even came back and did it again this year, so quite crazy. Anyway, so that was a big moment because that was a big step for us, I suppose, and that was almost the start of the American journey. Yeah, it's a really strong memory. There's so many. Just, I always remember being at North Berwick Highland Games as well, and the pipes. It was just like, it was just crazy that there were just pipes everywhere, and I think that kind of epitomised the Highland Games and that the atmosphere you can create with the pipes. That was there's just loads of little moments. I don't think I'm very good at this one.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
I'll think of
stories
some more
that come along the way. So what's changed since you started all those 20 years ago then?
What's changed? Lots of different people. Lots of people in and out the doors, and some who've stayed and some who haven't, and all contributing different things. And I think that's one of my favourite memories actually, is when Oren won the Apprentice of the Year. So Oren's been with us 8 years now.
8 years last month.
Came to us as a 16-year-old. One that came straight from school and didn't really know what he wanted to do, but has such a passion for what we do, and for it's just been part of the journey, and he's seen it from such a basic level of business to what we to actually now having a system and having it being a proper company, I suppose. So he's seen a lot of that. So that was quite a big moment. That felt really good. That felt like we were a proper employer. So what's changed? The people have changed. We've probably changed as a company in that, we've got systems, we've got structure, but then in a way we've not changed because it's still all about the same things. It's still all about customer service. I can't have it if you're not polite to the customers or friendly, or that's just
how to make Hannah angry.
If you want to really annoy me, don't treat the customers the way I think they should be treated. So that that's a big cultural thing in here, isn't it? And that's what we built the business on. So I'm absolutely mad about that. So that hasn't changed. So that those kind of core values and the whole made in Scotland and our passion for local and wanting to do things for locally and use local products, and so that's what's not changed. What has changed? Well, we don't have a fax machine anymore.
You did have to teach me how to use that when I first started. You didn't believe me when I said
you didn't know what a fax machine was.
I knew what it was. I just didn't know how to use it.
Oh, dear.
And it was next to my desk. And
made me feel old.
Yes, fax. And I was like, no problem. As long as you show me how.
When we started, we had dial-up and a fax machine, and that monitor in that picture you posted. I mean, the monitor was absolutely massive. So much has changed with technology, and I mean, we wouldn't have a business without the internet. So, we still don't have fibre at Duns, so we'll agree now. So that's something that hasn't changed. But lots of things are still the same. My desk is still a mess. I've still got a million things that I want to do and I'm hoping to do today and will never get done. I never spend enough time doing stats, things like that. But
Neil's very good at stats.
Yeah, Neil's here to do stats. So technology I think is the biggest change. I think that is the biggest change because the product, we've developed new products, new tartans, new collections, but actually the core thing that the wool tartan fabric is such a traditional thing that's remained the same, and that's the constant. So I think.
Well, when you look at the original website to now, then there's a video coming to show you the progression of the website soon. So,
but that's been really good to look back, and I think I forget how far we've come. And then you look back and go, "Oh, heavens above, did we really print that brochure like that?" But at the time it was cutting edge.
Exactly. Well, and I think, especially to think 20 years ago to start an online business, and who was online shopping at that time?
No, hardly anyone.
Exactly. So I think that was definitely in there at the right time.
Yeah, well, we've kind of grown with the technology, which makes it hard in a way, but also has made it great.
Yeah. So what do you still want to accomplish then?
Oh, what do I want? Oh, so many things. We are absolutely bursting at the seams here. So I would, I've been trying really hard to secure us new premises locally. So that is in my kind of short term. I want to do that next week, please. That's certainly something I want to do. And I obviously have a picture in my head of how beautiful they'll be, and all the fabulous bits of art that we're going to have on the wall that picture our journey.
Okay,
we have a lot of pictures like that, and also we have our thrones. We have our throne in the Edinburgh shop, which is upholstered in Edinburgh tartan. We have one in Albany tartan, and we have a throne here ready to be in the Duns Pipe Band tartan, which is also what the fan is wrapped in. So that will be in the reception area. So that's kind of one of the dreams. What else do I still want to accomplish? I am really passionate about the people and what we do for the people in here, and I've had so many amazing, really loyal staff, and often I feel like our training has come on a lot, and we've tried to become much more organised and structured in what we do, but we're still not, it's a long way from perfect. So I would like to have a really amazing academy, Anna's Academy, the Tartan Academy, for young people to come in and experience, even if they don't want to work in the industry, that we could at least use it for the school to allow young people to come in the college and things to just kind of see what goes on and get a feel for business and all the different bits of business. So I'd like to have that, but also for our own staff, to bring them in and them have a really amazing experience in the first month while they're learning, rather than the usual kind of in at the deep end. Here's a few bits of paper to read. Oh, they're off today. You're going to have to cover them. You'll be all right, won't you? That kind of approach. So, so yes, that's one of my big things.
I think that sounds like an excellent idea.
And lots more travelling, obviously. Pop-ups around the world, excuses to go to various places, and just meet people. Yeah, meet lots of people.
Okay. Well, and Oren, your ears must have been burning because you've now come on with a question. And he's saying, is there an idea or business endeavour you would have done sooner or regret not having done?
Oh, Oren, that's a difficult question.
I know, trust you, Oren, to come out with a
said you were meant
one.
to ask easy questions of me. Oh, that's really hard. I don't really regret anything because that's kind of a waste of energy. But there's lots of little things that I suppose I've kind of seen crop up and I feel like I've not followed through. And that's my current frustration, and that's why I think we're building the team as we are at the moment, to try and not miss out on things. I'm going to have to come back to that, Oren. Maybe I'll think about it tonight and I'll tell you tomorrow morning when I come in, because I can't think what that would be.
You'll have to post it in the comments.
So I'll think about that one. I'll come back to it. It'll maybe come to me.
Kind of on a similar vein. So if you were to do it all again, what would you do differently? So not a regret, but what would you have done differently?
I'd be more careful with my cash flow. yeah, I'm a bit, as you know, I'm not really worried about risk. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. I don't really worry too much, I suppose. So yeah, I kind of jump in with both feet, and I always assume I can make it happen. I can make it work. So yeah, so I would be more careful with. I think I wasted a lot of money, and I'd saved that money for years, so carefully, and then I wasted a lot of it, and now I'm quite careful now where we invest. So I think one of my big things is that I listened to people, and I always thought everyone else knew more than me and was cleverer than me, which they generally are anyway. But I felt like I had to listen to them, and that what they were saying would be right. Whereas now I realise that a lot of it was just, wasn't necessarily right. It wasn't necessarily right for us.
Yeah, I was going to say what's right for them isn't necessarily right
and
for
we're
you.
very niche, and actually we really know our customer, and I maybe wasn't confident enough. So I think that's my big thing is that I would be more confident. If I went back and did it again, I would be more confident, and I would try and waste less money. But I'm quite good at wasting money, as Neil will tell you. So
you do like shopping.
I like to shop. I do, but then I'm in retail, so it would be wrong if I didn't like to shop.
And if you were to step into the shoes of another business owner for a day, who would this be and why?
Oh, well, I love a factory. I love production. I love that side of things. So maybe I'd just go and work in one of the mills. Maybe I could run a mill. Maybe I could run the kilt maker for a day. Anything foodie though. Yeah, I quite like food production.
Interesting.
Yeah, I quite like all of that. I loved when we went to the distillery, when we did the joint project with the Borders Distillery. I loved that. Something production related, I think. But actually, what I really want to do is do a different job every week. So I'd like to, so I could just work in loads of different places.
Interesting.
So I don't mind I don't want to run it. I don't want to run it. I just to see how things work. I'd quite like to work in the co-op. I always tell you this. Just like beeping stuff through the till, not having to worry. You would get bored within
a minute.
But then I'd just clock off at 5 and go home and walk the dog, and it would all be so easy.
It might be easy, but I don't think you would last more than a week.
No, and my children always say, Mum, after 5 minutes, you'd be saying, now I wonder, well, maybe we could do it like this.
Absolutely, so, I agree with them on that.
But I would like that. I'm really intrigued by how other businesses do things. So I'd like to go and work in a whole load of other businesses and just spend a week with each of them.
Well, if anyone's offering.
Does anyone want me for a week? I'll do anything. I'm good at the bins. I do the bins quite a lot.
That's very true. So next up is, how are you celebrating the anniversary?
Oh, we've got lots. It's very good, because I'm a bit bad for not celebrating things, and I would just kind of crack on and ignore it. But there was quite a lot of nagging in the house of, what are we doing? What are we doing, Anna? So we're doing quite a lot of different things, aren't we? Yes. We've got a competition running if you want to have a tartan design. So Emily is obviously in charge of that, because she is the
I did sign myself up for that one.
You did,
but I mean, it's one of my favourite things to do. Yeah. So any excuse to design tartans.
So that's running. And there's some treats for customers that's based on orders and different things. So we'll be releasing that. I can't say too much.
I know, some secret gifts.
Some secret gifts, for our customers. There's a limited edition product coming out, but it's a little behind in its production. But probably beginning of November, I think we'll release that. But there's something special that we've created, which is quite tasty. A special ScotlandShop limited edition. So we'll be sharing that with customers and suppliers and lots of different people. What else have we done? We'll be having a party.
Of course.
For the staff. We like a party. So we'll have to have that. Just lots of little treats. And we've changed our logo on the website, which was quite exciting.
It was. Lots of memories.
Memories.
Yeah.
A lot of happy memories.
Yeah.
I'm posting them all on social media and sharing some terrible pictures of me. But don't worry, I'm going to get my own back because we're doing a whole thing with the staff around what they were doing 20 years ago. And that's causing a lot of hilarity in the office. It's very funny. Especially as it does make me feel a bit old, I have to admit. But some of them were like 5. But there's some quite good stories. So yeah, just lots of fun stuff. Lots of little things.
There you go.
Yeah. Cake.
You've already had an offer for a week's job swap.
Oh, Colin says definitely. And Colin, I'm really bad. He says, how's my coffee making skills? Well, I'm really bad at making coffee, but I'm really good at tea.
Yes.
So
yeah, I don't drink coffee, so I can't.
No, I'm renowned for being really bad at coffee. Sarah tried to teach me, but I'm still really bad apparently. So no problem. I'll come and make you coffee for a week, Colin. You can train me.
There you go. One of the skills you can learn. Yeah, you can be a barista for a week.
Yeah, good.
Maybe do that first and then go to Colin. So this is something I get asked quite a lot. So I don't know if you do too. Do you wear tartan to work every day?
No, I don't. I'm a bit of a jeans and hoodie girl. So yes, I'm a bit of a scruff really. But I would always, if I was in the shop or doing any kind of event, I obviously wear my tartan and I have my little favourite pieces that I like to wear. I do love my tartan dress. I'm seeing in that a lot. Must get another one actually because I think I'm in the same one the whole time. I do frequently have to put my tartan scarf on if it gets a bit chilly in the office, if I've forgotten to put the heating on. So no, I don't wear it every day.
No. Likewise.
But we're so surrounded by it. I mean, if you could see this room we're sitting in, there's just like stacks of tartan everywhere. So we might clash with it if we wore tartan every day.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. But no, absolutely, like you say, keep it special for events and in the store.
Yes.
And again, something I've been asked a few times is when I'm with my friends and we happen to be somewhere and someone's wearing tartan, do they all expect you to know what it is?
Yeah. Oh, what's that?
Yes.
Well, I'm quite proud because quite often I do know.
Yeah.
And I get a bit annoyed if I don't, and I then have to go and look it up because it's annoying me, or I have to ask Oren to take a picture, and Oren is the oracle of all things tartan, so I have to take it back in and ask him. So that's a bit of a challenge. I quite like that.
Well, and I think the clan ones we're good with, but then there are so many new ones being created all the time that to know.
Yeah, and the higher tartans. I'm not very good at those.
Yeah,
I could tell you one that's similar.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we're always good with. Oh well,
it's like.
Yeah, I was doing that just yesterday for someone. So next up is why Edinburgh for a store.
Why Edinburgh? It has to be Edinburgh, doesn't it? If it's Scotland, sorry, Glasgow. We've looked at Glasgow, we've looked at Inverness, we've looked at lots of different places. Edinburgh, to be honest, we're a bit lazy too, so it's easier. It's not that far from here.
Logistical, kind of.
Yeah, logistically. Sorry, that was the wrong. Yeah. We're not lazy. It was logistically sensible to be in Edinburgh because it's not far to zip up and down the road if anything happens and we need to be there. Edinburgh is really special, I think, from a tourism point of view. It's just everyone knows Edinburgh. It's internationally renowned. It's a really special place. And again, you don't really realise how special it is until you go to lots of other cities and realise they're not all like that. No.
So,
no, and it's a real walking city. I love Edinburgh. You can walk everywhere you want to get to. But I think for us, because we are, tourism, we generally are welcoming. Yeah, there's lots of locals come as well, but we are welcoming lots of people from overseas. So a city with an international airport makes sense. You can see the castle from our door. We didn't go on the Royal Mile. That was a kind of conscious choice. We didn't do that, which is your kind of standard tourist trail, I suppose. But we felt like we wanted to be somewhere different where people came as more of a destination. So they wanted to find their specific clam tartan, or they wanted to be measured or whatever. So
Well, and it's worked out well because we've got an exciting neighbour now, don't we?
Yeah, we've got Johnny Walker Whiskey just up the road. Well, 10 metres from the door. So that's been great. That's been a great addition to our street. So yeah, that's why Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And it has a great tartan.
It does, yeah. It was originally for the Commonwealth Games, wasn't it, when they were held there in the 70s. So yeah, nice to see it still being used.
Yeah.
So next up, similar.
Why Albany? I think you should answer that, Emily, because
why Albany?
you were a huge part of all that research. Go on, you tell us why Albany.
Putting me on the spot here. But yeah, I mean, as Anna said, we went to Tartan Week in 2019. So the Northeast region was kind of where we knew best, and we had a lot of customers in that area. So yeah, we created the biggest spreadsheet you could probably ever see. Kind of just to help confirm what we already knew, I suppose. If you'd asked us, we probably would have said that kind of area, wouldn't we? But yeah, until we kind of looked at it, just to give us that confidence of, no, this is where we should go. And then when it came to actually choosing a city, that was really difficult, wasn't it?
We toed and froed a lot.
Oh, yeah. And we wanted to be close to Manhattan. We wanted to be close to Boston. But obviously, they're very expensive cities to base ourselves in. So, yeah, we wanted to be close to them, but somewhere we could kind of allow ourselves a bit more space, really, wasn't it?
And be part of a community.
Yeah,
I think that's always been really important to us. We're part of the kind of local community.
Yeah, I mean, Duns here is very small, so it's easy to be part of that community. So yeah, it was how could we replicate that in a city, I suppose. Started looking at that, and then we discovered Albany. So Alba is Gaelic for Scotland. We noticed that there were 4 pipe bands there. There was Celtic Hall, 2 St Andrews societies.
The road's called Loudon Road, Campbell of Loudon. I mean,
exactly. So
we did want to be. We could have been in New Scotland, couldn't we? Which is just along the road, a little town along the road.
And then there's also a Scotia as well in the area.
Once you start looking, well, I think there's lots of bits of America are like that. But once you start looking, the stories and the history that we uncovered, it was really interesting. That was one of my favourite bits, was just uncovering bits of information.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And like you say, there's even a Robert Burns statue, and it's just like you say, everywhere it seemed to be cropping up. The Centre of Economic Growth were really helpful, and put us in touch with people like Discover Albany, who are kind of the tourism board there. So just lots of people helped us along the way, and it means that we can have easy access into Manhattan, like say, and even up into Canada. It's only 2.5 hours drive from Montreal, so nice and accessible too. Like you say, it's got an international airport, so means we can head over to Ian in Washington or Gus in Chicago. Gives us a lot of easy options. So otherwise, a lot of driving,
and also not completely off the time zone. So at least we have some crossover. Because talking of logistics and we were talking about Edinburgh, well, Albany, it's a whole other story, and it's been fun. It's so frustrating when things are going wrong and you want to go and fix them and you can't. But it just having that crossover of time has been really, really important.
Absolutely,
I think if we'd gone to California, we would have found it really tough.
Yeah, exactly. They would have been starting as
we were going to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just too hard.
Yeah.
We'll go to California soon, though, because I really want to go. But
at least then we can
as our starter,
Albany, who can then hand over. So one day we're going to be a 24-hour operation. That's one of your plans.
Then we'll never sleep.
Well,
already when we moved to 7 days with the Edinburgh shop, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah. But we'll have such a big team that
it'll be fine.
Yeah, you're not.
I'll just be sitting with my feet up.
Yeah, so we kind of got asked this earlier, but any ideas on where you think the next Scotland Shop store is going to be?
Oh, well, I mean, there's people in the shop said the Netherlands. Then we started talking about Paris. I don't know. I don't know. The US is obviously a huge area of growth for us just now. So lots of plans there. We've got lots of locations we want to look at. Now we've got Harold to visit in Canada, and then we've got, who else were we going to visit in North Carolina?
Yeah.
So there's so many. It's really hard because actually there's a lot of different.
Yeah, it's just
places you can
narrowing
go.
it down, isn't it? And not spreading ourselves too thin, I
Yeah,
suppose.
it is, and it's about people. So if you want to come work for Scotland Shop and start a shop in Paris, then come speak to us.
Yeah.
It's about building the team, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know whether well, I kind of know, but I'm not going to say actually. So
okay,
it's in my head. The picture's there.
I don't think I even know. So
I think you maybe do.
And so favourite event you've attended for the business?
Well, I've already said the New York Tartan Day Parades. That was definitely a highlight. Others, I'm very fond of the Florida Highland Games.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Because, well, they're just lovely people in the sunshine. It's February, and I've been there twice now, and that's a terrible reason, but it's just so beautiful. And that little blue house in Dunedin where we've done the pop-up shop.
Scottish Society,
yeah. Oh, just the people, but then people everywhere are lovely. I don't think we've been ever anywhere and thought, oh, they weren't very nice.
No, exactly. We've been very lucky. Scottish charm.
Scottish charm, yes. No, so that's definitely one of my highlights. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I love everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever come back with a bad report.
No. No, we did some really fun stuff down in London at London Scottish House. That was great. That was an amazing building too. If you ever get a chance to go there, go and have a look. The drill hall, it's quite amazing. So yeah, just I can't think.
I suppose that's also is like your ability to make the most of everything. I suppose, like I say, you've never come back with a bad report from something because even if it was quieter than you expected or not what you expected, you
always get something, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, and when I went to the Forbes gathering recently, and that was up in Aberdeenshire, and that was just being up in Aberdeenshire was exciting because I hadn't been up there for years. It's ridiculous. It's my own country. It must be about 3 years since I've been up that end of the country. And it's so beautiful. And then the way I drove home, and so I took loads of time to drive home, and beautiful sunny day, and went to the Lanark Highland Games, and just appreciated our amazing country. So I think lots of little moments like that. But that was one of my fun days out this year, Lanark Highland Games. Saw the guy break the record.
Oh yes,
really fancy a shot of the heavy events, I have to say. That is definitely on my radar of something that I quite fancy.
I kind of got a shot while I was in Canada this year. They had an open competition for the keg toss, so I actually came away with a trophy from that. So already you had kind of been talking about it, but I think now both of us are like, okay, yes. And Amy is very good at her weightlifting, so I think she's going to have to be our trainer.
She can be the coach.
So actually my mum has joined as well.
Oh, Lillian's here.
Yes, to ask what inspired you to set up the business. So we've already covered that, but if you can do maybe a quick recap.
What inspired me. I've forgotten now, Lillian. Colour and texture and the adventure, Lillian. Definitely the adventure.
Supporting the local economy.
Supporting the local economy. Yeah, just doing stuff with amazing product. It was a product. These products were all sold through agents at that time because you didn't have the internet. Well, it's only just beginning. So everything that went to someone in America went via either the American customer had come here or an agent had sold a product into a store in the States and they then got it there. So my whole thing was, I'm going to take this product and I'm going to deliver it to your door. And that now seems, very kind of like, of course you would. But actually at that time, that wasn't really happening. Mail order wasn't, you got mail order catalogues, but you had to get that through your door by post. So obviously Scottish companies weren't doing that to American customers. So that was a lot of it.
Yeah. Mum, you're asking all the questions we've already covered. So you're going to have to go back. So I'm going to skip your next question and go to, do you like being your own boss?
I do. I definitely do. It does get really lonely sometimes. Get a bit lonely. I think anyone who runs their own business will say that. It sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? But it is true. That's one of the hardest things. It gets a bit lonely sometimes when things are tough. But no, I do like being my own boss, and as you know, I like being able to just make a snap decision and make things happen. So I don't really want to have to refer to someone else or ask my boss if I'm allowed to do it. So no, I really like being my own boss. I like making things happen, and I like having ideas and being able to see it through from start to finish, or having an idea and giving it to you or one of the team who then make it happen. I really like that, actually. That's what, as time's gone on, has been amazing, when there's something that we've thought up, even if I haven't thought it up, that we've thought it up as a group. And then you see it happen, you're like, oh, that was a really good idea.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I think even getting the input and actually, seeing some of your ideas, and you're like, wow, they've actually listened to it and we're actually doing it. It's a little bit scary sometimes.
It's made the odd mistake, but you know.
Yeah.
The tartan bikinis, they didn't go that well.
Well, yeah.
I still think we got them.
That was before I was here, so I can't
we
even
might have
comment.
to have another go at them. Vote.
Okay.
You can all vote.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one to you. But, so, how did COVID impact the business?
Dear,
and
I
it's
don't
not
like
the
talking
most
about
exciting
COVID.
of topics.
Anyway, how did it did change what we did. So we totally refocused, totally went back to web, and obviously because we had no choice, we had to close the shops. So yeah, we went back to focusing on web. We spent we must have been the first day we sat down and said, right, how are we still going to speak to our customers, meet our customers?
Just being like, right, okay.
Right, we've got to be really creative.
Yeah, we had so many events that we'd planned, and lots of flights to cancel, stuff like that. So
and there was a bit of shock in there, definitely.
Definitely.
So that you kind of have to almost recover from that. But I think we recovered quite quickly. Came up with some good ideas, and that's where virtual appointments began. And so we started chatting to customers on video call, and that
was literally in the March, like it was really early on.
Right at the start, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that's been great. That's a total new kind of arm to the business now, and it works really well. So we still do that. So that was a good thing.
Every day we've got people we're speaking to all over the world. Yeah.
Doing a lovely jacket for a guy today on a video call. I'm now trying to remember where it was. In the States. Oh dear, he had a beautiful view. He sent me the view afterwards, and it was amazing. And he had a very nice dog too. So
I could hear that.
I got to meet the dog and the cats and everyone.
Well, that's the thing. You always meet the whole family.
Yeah, you do, because people are at home. It's quite funny, and the kids appear. And,
yesterday I had a little girl who was wearing her Halloween outfit who wanted to come and show me her Halloween outfit. So I've now sent her a blog with all Scottish Halloween stories. So
Yes. So what came out of COVID? We just went back to web, didn't we? And we also said, well, we still want to do America. We still know there's lots of people in America who want our products. So how are we going to do it? Even if we're not there.
And I have to say, I think if it hadn't been for COVID, then having the time to actually sit and look at all those stats and. Yeah, because I don't think we would have prioritised it as heavily or kind of, just had as much time to actually do that planning. Yeah, and I think it really impacted us we all really pulled together as well. And that's what's nice about being in a little team, and everyone pulls together and kind of sat down and said, right, this is going to be really tough. How are we going to get through it? And what could we do? And everyone was just great. Yeah. They were really good. Yeah. So lots of random calls from everyone's bedrooms and living rooms.
Exactly. Random working locations, but also the beauty of and appreciating our remote location. Yeah. Because it meant that we didn't have to we just weren't as locked down because we live in the middle of nowhere. So
well, and I suppose
you were able to put your head out the door.
Everything being online then meant that we actually could still run and function and
exactly.
Had all that kind of already in place, which made it a lot easier, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah. So we'll get on to some more fun stuff. So what outside of work are your hobbies? We touched on cycling
as I said
earlier.
before, I do love my exercise. So that's probably my main hobbies. I have 2 children as well, but they're quite big now. So, but I do help out, and I've always been... My kids swam, so I've always been beside a pool and helping with the club and doing a bit of coaching and judging and stuff like that. So I like whatever they do, I kind of can't help myself but get involved in. much eye rolling from the teenagers, but that's how it is. And yeah, I just like being outside and walking the dog and running, and yeah, I don't really mind what I do, to be honest. If you suggest something, I'm quite likely to be up for it. I like food too. I like eating, and I love ice cream. So you can take me anywhere for an ice cream. I'll cycle wherever you like if there's an ice cream at the end of it.
One of the only times I've heard you complain is that there hasn't been enough ice cream during a trip. So,
or if I've not had time to have my ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have to go to Canada for moose traps.
Okay. Yes, you did introduce me to that. That's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, I do a lot of work. I work too many hours, but also my work's kind of my passion too. So it's
Yes. And any technology that you miss or that you're very grateful has been developed over the last 20 years?
Well, we wouldn't be a business without the internet, so I suppose that's wouldn't want to be without that. I really love some of the systems and the way systems have developed, and the fact that you have plugins now and apps and lots of clever stuff like that. I love all those communication tools that make things easier. So I'm really grateful for all of those. Some of the ones aren't quite as good as they claim they are. I find them a little frustrating. But no, generally, I really like, I quite like tech. I like a new system. I'm glad we've got to a stage where we know what our systems are and we're probably not going to change them.
It's a big relief.
Yeah, we seem to have a bit of a phase there of, well, we'll try that. That's not quite right. So yeah, it's quite nice to have reached this phase. We're like, right, I'm just going to stick with this now for 10 years.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Don't change it. Don't change it. Yeah, I think that would be my big thing.
Yeah. Okay. Anything you think we've not covered, or anyone else got any questions before we wrap things up?
For hours.
Yeah.
We just need a bit more cider now.
Yeah.
I don't think does that cover everything?
I think so. We'll just check that no last minute questions.
No last minute questions.
But no.
I think thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for making us who we are. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's really nice to talk about the last 20 years because you do realise you've actually made some progress. Sometimes I feel like I'm going backwards, not forwards. But when we do this, we realise, how many lovely people we've met along the way, amazing staff, great team, the kind of community spirit we have here. It's fantastic. So thank you. And thank you, Emily, for being bullied into being question master.
Yes. Well, and I think if anyone else has any ideas on what the next 20 years should look like, then...
Yeah, you better tell us, because we have been driven by customers. We created a product range request based on what the customers requested, and so we'll just carry on in that same vein, I think, because it seems to work.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah, thank you.